Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to be continuing year number 5 of our Miami Marlins Rebuild in MLB The Show 18. And in case anybody has not seen it yet, the last video that I uploaded, we actually began the season, went through the entire offseason, made a couple of signings, a couple of trades, and we really just focused on trying to field a team that could get us back to the playoffs, while at the same time really trying to keep the budget in mind and leave some space in case we do want to add a player or two at the deadline. So we're going to start off with the regular season here, but first, of course, we have to set the 25-man roster. But before we do that, before I forget, because I did forget to say it in the first video for this year, this is probably going to be the last season in this rebuild. If not this season, probably the next, and it kind of just depends on how well the team does. If they get back to the playoffs and they get further than we did last season, we may call it a day with this rebuild. If they, make another quick exit or they don't get back to the playoffs altogether, we may go one more year just to try to see if we can get them a little bit further, try to end on a good note. But I just want to let you guys know that, keep you updated on what I'm thinking. But now to the roster. We got a lot of starting pitchers, first off. 9 of them, but we're going to be going with Lamet, Garcia, Faria, Tanaka, and Bridwell is what I'm thinking. So I know Lopez is an 82, but I'm just a little unsure about some of his attributes here, and we're really trying to focus on making the playoffs. So if he does well in the minors and somebody else is struggling at the major league level, we'll find a way to get him up most likely at some point during the year. Alcantara as well is going to be going down to AAA, along with Pannone, who I do believe is, out of minor league options. And then Duplantier, who I feel like it's a bit of a risk because we don't want anybody picking him up, but we really don't have a spot for him at the moment on the major league roster. So hopefully those guys can clear waivers. But in the bullpen, we got Minter and Claudio. At the back end, Alvarado, Jimenez, Holder, Green, and Del Pozo. Hernandez, Mejia, and Ruiz are all going to be starting in AAA. And then we move on to the offensive side of things with Smith and Miles as our catchers. Amaya is going to kind of be waiting in the wings for his opportunity at some point. We're going to go with Adams at first base. We may look to platoon him with Urshela, because he does play first base. So we may look to platoon him with Urshela, because I'm a little unsure about leaving him in against lefties, but we'll kind of figure that out as we go. Diaz and Cooper are going to start at AAA as well. And then at second base, we have Gurriel and Marte. I'm thinking, well, actually, we're going to have Urshela on the major league level. So Cuthbert and Vinicio will start at AAA. Kind of be our backup pieces, our depth pieces. So we're going to go with Adams, Gurriel Jr., Marte, Robertson, Drury, and Urshela on the infield. And then in the outfield, we have Tomas, Anderson, Renfroe, Gonzalez, and Kirilloff, with Mesa and Harrison kind of as our 2 depth pieces in the outfield. So that's going to do it. We still have to set the pitching rotation and the lineups, but I'm going to do that off screen because it's going to take me a few minutes. So once I do that, I'll meet you guys at the, the calendar, the calendar screen? Yeah, I guess that's what you call it, to start the regular season, and hopefully we get off to a good start here. Alright guys, so we're going to advance to the regular season. We set up the rotation and the lineup, so we got Lamet, Garcia, Faria, Tanaka, Bridwell, Del Pozo in long relief, Green, Holder, Alvarado, Jimenez in middle relief, Claudia as the setup man, and Minter in the closing spot. In the lineups against righties, we have Marte, Drury, Adams, Anderson, Tomas, Kirilloff as the DH there, Renfroe, Miles, Robertson, and then without the DH, it's exactly the same. Renfroe, Miles, Robertson just move up one spot. And same thing for the lefties, but we got Marte, Anderson, Tomas, Renfroe, Drury, Gonzalez, Miles, Urshela, and Robertson. So I got Urshela, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, platooning with Adams. I was going to say Robertson, but we got Urshela platooning with Adams. Gonzalez is going to be the DH versus lefties, and Kirilloff versus righties. We got Marte starting at second over Gurriel, just mostly based off of his contact. And then anything else? We got Miles as the full-time starting catcher. I think previously I had him platooning with Smith, but he definitely improved because I had Smith versus the lefties, and well, clearly he's better. So I must have had him versus the righties. I don't know. He's good enough to start on an everyday basis, I think. So we're going to go with that, and we're going to get started. We're just going to kind of sim through here. Hopefully we get off to a decent start. We're at 500 right now. You know, we'll see how we do. I do actually want to do the draft. Oh my god, wait a minute. I just remembered. I do want to actually do the draft manually this time, with some of the tips that one viewer gave me. I checked out some other videos and I got some ideas, but I want to make sure that I have decent scouts. Sometimes I forget to go back every year and switch these up, even though I do it at the beginning of the rebuild, and right away we're not looking too great. We do need a East scout, so we're gonna go with Fox over this guy. International 1784. I think that's the best available international scout. West, we got 64 and 79, 89 and 62. I think we have the best one there too. And then Central, 92 and 56. We can do better there. All right, so that's set up. I'm glad I caught that. So let's continue simming. Not doing too bad, but not doing too great either. You know, we'll see how we do further into the season. You know, we'll stop and we'll check and see what's going on here in the standings. We're actually in first place, a half game up on the Mets. I can't be too angry if the Mets actually beat us, as long as we get a wild card spot. But you know, we're ranked 19th. I'm not sure if that's just because like certain, you know, we didn't just take the top 25 guys on our entire roster as the 25-man roster. Maybe that's why. Maybe it'd be higher if we literally took the top 25 rated players, but that wouldn't necessarily work just based off of how many pitchers, how many starters, how many you know, each position offensively. But I don't know, I thought we'd be better than 19th. Maybe we are, but we're in first place for right now, so we'll keep simming and see how this team does. A little bit of a losing streak there, but we got another winning streak going. We're still 5 games over, and the draft is coming up. Alright, so we do actually have the 23rd overall pick in the draft, so we're not going to get any blue chip prospect guys that we're pretty certain are going to end up being good players. But for the first pick, I'm thinking we go with this guy. Not this guy. This guy, sorry. Victor Ponce, 23-year-old third baseman. The one thing I'm worried about is that he's already a 70 overall, so I'm a little worried that his projected attributes are not going to pan out. But I want to try to go for more impact players as much as possible, since this is potentially the last season, if not the second to last season, that we're going to be doing for this rebuild. So we're going to go with him for the first pick, and we're going to continue to sim, but we got a competitive balance round A pick here, number 6. And we're also, I had my eyes on 2 other guys here, if I can find them. Some of them actually might not. Presley was one of them. The other guy, I don't believe he's here. He must have been taken. Oh no, it was Valencia. Valencia and Presley. Yeah. So we're going to go with Presley, and then Valencia if he's available, which I don't expect him to be. Oh, we got the 20. Okay. He may be. He may be still available. Yes, he is. We're going to go with Valencia. And we'll briefly go over them at the end of the draft, just to kind of see what their stats are, what their attributes are, in case you guys missed it at all, if I'm going a little fast here. So the second pick, or no, is this the third? This is the third round, right? Yeah. It's our 4th pick, but the 3rd round. So, you know, I watched some videos, I watched some other people do it. I kind of followed the tips that a viewer left for me in a previous video, and I'm hoping I have more of a firm understanding of how this draft works. I have a few tips under my belt now. Like for pitchers, we really want to focus on walks and probably control being rather high. We want the overall to be a little bit lower compared to the potential. You know, you don't want a guy who's a 75 overall and an 80 potential. It's more likely that he's not going to pan out, or that when you draft him, you're going to find out that he's a D potential. It doesn't really add up. But anyway, so what I like to do, you know, I tried doing this a few times. It's worked out more often than not, is what I'm trying to say, that it worked out for me. I kind of start with the 80 potentials, and you know, I'll look at the green accuracy and then kind of go down to the yellow, and then I'll move down to the 75 and do the same. So since we've already gone through, or I've already gone through all the 80 potential guys, we're going to move on to the 75, see if there's any guys with a green accuracy bar left, which there aren't. So we'll check out the yellow 80, but he's got 55 control. He's got decent contact. He's potentially a good fielder. He's got some speed. He is far away though, so you know, we'll see what we can get. 80 and 65, but he's a 70 overall. Acevedo? No. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go... Where was he? This guy. Ramon Valdez. Was it Ramon Valdez? I think it was Ramon Valdez. We're going to pick him. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a 6th pick here, because it looked kind of shallow. Maybe, well, no, we probably will. Alright, Mike Barth. Me. We'll see. We'll see. I can't remember like who was left, but I don't want to get that far down. So we'll probably go with Barth, and then we'll start looking at the red accuracies. So not too accurate, but you know, we'll take a chance on them a little bit later in the draft. 80 potentials. We got 80 walks per 9. Finish my sentence. 80, and he's a 65. So we'll go with him. Montes Cervantes. And then round 6, we'll get our last pick in. Louis Pesky, 70 and 80. We'll go with him. We'll try him out. So let's see how we did. Alright, not too great. Definitely not too great. Maybe I don't have too firm of an understanding, but I swear to God, when I did this on my own, practice-wise, it came out a little bit better than this. But not, you know, horrible. We're gonna definitely try to work on this a little bit more until we, you know, so that when we start a new rebuild, we're gonna be able to do pretty well, hopefully, in these drafts. But I do want to continue to do them manually. Louis Pesky, 19, 72, he's a 57. 74 for Cervantes, he's a 56. 78 for Barth, he's a 60. Valdez is a 63, he's a 73 potential. But he's got good walks per 9, which is very important, apparently. So we're going to sign those two. 79 potential for Valencia, he's a 64. His walks are a little low, but that's okay. 80 potential for Presley, 63 overall. And 82 potential for Ponce, who's a 72 overall. But he looks like a decent player, Ponce. You know, his fielding's a little bit low, but he's definitely someone who could definitely be in the majors if there's, you know, a spot for him you know, within a year or two. So, you know, that wasn't a bad pick. I know his potential isn't super high, but, you know, we definitely could do better in these drafts. So that's definitely a goal for myself moving forward in these rebuilds. Get better at these drafts. But yeah, let's sim up to the. I'm thinking we go to the trade deadline and then we'll pick up in a third video from there. But let's continue to sim, see how the team does. Definitely not doing too good right now. So Julio Garcia, who is a prospect that we received in a trade in the offseason for Engelb Vielma. I don't know how I do with pronouncing these names. Hopefully not too bad. The problem is we really don't have room for him. Is he on a 40-man roster? Yeah, so we're not going to go through with that trade. We just don't have a spot for him. But we're continuing to sim here. We're under 500 now. Why? We were doing decent up till June. Come on. Carlos Tocci for Daniel Foster. How's Tocci? He's actually pretty decent. But we don't really have a spot for him on the roster. That's the problem. I don't think we're going to do it. Let's continue to sim. And we'll definitely go over how the players are doing before we stop this video, just to see. But we're really not doing that good anymore. Fighting to get back to 500, but it's just not happening. Alright, so the White Sox acquired Ben Gamel for, I guess, a bunch of prospects. Alright, cool. 6 games under. Not what I wanted to see. Cardinals get Puig from the Twins for Ozuna, Herrera, and Hudson. Alright, stop simulating. We're 5 games under 500. We'll just quickly see if anybody is on the All-Star roster from our team. Check that out. Syndergaard, but he's not on our team. Who do we have? Anybody? We got Minter, who's not having the best of years. 3.92 ERA. We could definitely do better. Already 9 blown saves. That's not good. That's 9 wins that we could have had, Minter. Should I put Claudio in the closer's role? I don't know. I don't know. Anybody on the offensive side? Actually, I saw Bochelle. We could have gotten him. I should have gotten him. He was on the D-backs. We made a trade with the D-backs for Duplanter, Tanaka, and Ketel Marte. I was really tempted to get him over Duplanter. Maybe I should have. He's, you know, his attributes say that he's pretty good, and he's only 24. You know, definitely someone I maybe should have picked up. I may regret that decision. Nobody else. So just Minter, who's not having his best season either. Alright, Mitch Keller and Spencer Kieboom for Dinelson Lamet. No. Excuse me. Lamet is actually doing a little bit better. Not quite as good as we'd like to see, but I'm not trading away my I guess he's my ace. I'm not trading him away. He's too good. So we're going to continue to sim. We cannot get back to 500. Jonathan Reagan, who's a nice prospect. He's 23 for Urshela. How is Urshela doing? He's not doing too bad. 261. 2 homers. Do I want to make... I mean, it's a good trade, but is he really going to be able to make the Major League roster and actually help us? Because right now it's looking like we're only going to go 1 more season. I don't think it's worth doing it. If we were going a few more seasons, I'd definitely make that trade. But yeah, so we're going to stop there. We're going to go into the roster, just see how the players are doing. Faria is struggling. I was worried about that. How's Pablo Lopez doing? 358. He must not be in a starting rotation. Alcantara, 217. What? Are none of these guys in the starting rotation? I really need to pay attention to the minor leagues a little bit more. Make sure my guys are playing. Duplanter's got a 4.06 ERA. And wasn't there another guy? Alcantara, Duplanter, where is he? Wow, he dropped. 592, not doing too good. So, no one that we're really gonna look to... I guess we could call up Alcantara. Faria's just doing really bad. Tanaka's doing pretty good. Bridwell's doing pretty good. Same with Garcia. And Lamet isn't doing terrible, but again, better than last year. So yeah, we're going to call up Alcantara and send down Faria. I hope he has Yeah, he does. Okay. So we got Alcantara now in the starting rotation. Hoping he does a little bit better than he's done in the past, which was the main reason why he's not in the rotation at this point. But moving on to the bullpen, we got Alvarado struggling a little bit. Jimenez is doing well. Green, again, I mean, for these guys, an ERA above 4 is definitely struggling a little bit. It's not terrible, but definitely not what you want to see them do. Green, at least, is doing a lot better than last year. So that's good to see. Alvarado, he's still trending up, so you know he's not really declining or anything just yet. He's only 26, but still. Holder, not doing as good as I thought he would do. So that's an issue. Del Pozo's doing pretty decent, though, so that's nice to see. And then Minter, of course, who's gotten a little bit better since we saw him at the All-Star break. And Claudio, who's not doing too great. I mean, not doing too bad. But he is trending down, so that's not good. We just signed him to a 4-year deal. A little worried about that. We may look to trade him. Blaine Miles hitting 264 with 15 homers. Will Smith, again, hitting in the low 200s. 2 homers and 22 hits as the backup catcher. Matt Adams is not performing. I think it's time we call up Diaz, and I think that's a pretty unanimous decision if everybody else had a say in it. So yeah, I think we're going to call up Diaz. We're going to send him down. Gurriel's hitting 231, Marte's hitting 262. That's about what I thought Marte would do. Gurriel's struggling a little bit though. Robertson's struggling. Drury's doing pretty well. Urshela's doing alright. Tomas is doing well. Anderson's having a down year for him. Renfroe is doing about what we thought he would do. Kirilloff is struggling a little bit in his limited playing time, and Gonzalez is doing nice. He's probably the best hitter on the team right now, hitting 306. 9 homers in a backup role. Mesa is doing nicely in AAA as well as Harrison. So yeah, we just got to go in and fix up the... Yeah, we'll probably leave that platoon for now. Just because Diaz really struggles against lefties. But yeah, we definitely want to look to make a few trades. A couple of guys that are just underperforming. I'm a little unsure about Holder. I'm assuming he's just having a bad season. Who else? Gurriel, I'm not so sure about. Him and, Robertson, I'm not sure about either. He's trending down. I don't know. We may look to move him and Gurriel and get some pieces back. Maybe they can get a decent return. The outfield is pretty good, though. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm a little worried about Kirilloff, but I think it's just because he's not in a starting rotation. He's not getting enough playing time. Maybe he's just having an off year. But yeah, we definitely want to look to make some trades before we sim another day. So that's probably what we're going to do at the beginning of the next video. We'll probably start with making a few trades. Maybe we can turn it around because, we're only 5 games under. I don't know how far back we are in the wild card. 6 games, it's a little bit of a stretch because we got 4 teams, even 5 teams even between us and having a wild card spot. But it's only it's only at the trade deadline. We still have time. So it's a little bit of a long shot, in my opinion, for getting the postseason. So unless we turn things around, we're probably going to have one more season in this rebuild. But I think we're going to end it here. And like I said, we'll pick it up in the next video, making a few trades, finishing out the year, and seeing how everything goes. But thank you guys for checking this one out. I really hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out the previous video if you missed it. Any other videos on the channel. There's not too many up just yet, but there's a couple there. A couple other rebuilds that I've done. So feel free to check those out if you're new. And until the next video, I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will see you later.